Grace and peace, St. Luke beloved, and grace and peace to you, Lisa Maggiore.
Thank you.
And we're here to talk about the hot soup suppers and our efforts at St. Luke to make a difference for God's homeless and hungry children. So, Lisa, why you? What about this ministry has captured you? Because you've really been a leader, eh, not only in our congregation but in our parish. So why don't you talk a little bit about what grabbed you about this?
Sure. Well, I am a former social worker, so there is always a piece of mission that is deep within me, not only as my profession, but also just as a person. That was one piece of the St. Luke ministry that I felt was missing for many years, to be more mission oriented, uh, to actually have some actionable steps that we take to really help people. So when the strategic plan came about, and many people felt the same way I did, it was a perfect opportunity for us to join forces with the other Lakeview churches and say, hey, what can we do? And it was brought up around the fact that there are a lot of homeless, in our area and along the lakefront, along Belmont, and what can we do in that area? How can we be of service to others as a congregation and as just humans?
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I got into it.
Yes, I remember. I think that there was one meeting we had virtually where Lakeview Lutheran, one of their lay leaders, was talking about this ministry, and people got excited, uh, and so it's been going a couple of years now, and
Right, right. Paul from Lakeview was
oh yes,
he was the one who said, we're going to do this next month. And I was like, oh, okay, we are going to do this next month. And we did. So that's how it started.
and we've had a nice little core group of people from St. Luke who have supported this ministry from the beginning, right?
Oh, absolutely. We have, at least 5 consistent parishioners who come, every month and are really part of the whole process, whether it's bringing food, cooking the food, delivering the food, handing the food out. I mean, making hot chocolate. We give hot chocolate in the cold winter times, and boy, does that ever warm their hearts. I cannot tell you how many smiles we get when we bring hot chocolate to people.
Wow. And that's the part about delivering the food. That is the human element, uh,
Yeah,
and the
it is.
relation. And Jesus promised to be found wherever someone who's hungry or thirsty is fed or given something to drink. Uh, do you have a particular memory about people you've encountered?
Oh yes, there's a lot of stories. Um, I think one in particular that I know surprised all of us, was the winter, and it's real. Obviously, it's really cold. I mean, it was probably about 15 or 20 degrees, and we were underneath the expressway, and there was 2 tent cities, and we were out there saying, "Hey, hot food, hot food." And a young man, there was a group of young men, and they crossed over and came to us. And they're like, "Oh, that would be great. Thank you so much for giving us food." And the one guy said, we tell them where we're from. We always let them know that we're from St. Luke Lutheran Church, Lakeview Lutheran Church, that we're here for you. And this one guy just honed in on that. He goes, "I got to show you something. I got a story to tell you. Hold on." So he runs back across to his tent, comes back with a Bible. And he said, "I don't know if you guys heard on the news, but somebody set fire to our tents." And I did hear that where somebody lit their tent on fire. It burned everything what little they had, burned everything that he had, except for this Bible. This Bible was in a crate, and it was in between stacks of clothing items that he was able to save. And the clothing items on the top were completely charred. And the clothing items on the bottom were also completely charred and water soaked. But they protected that Bible. And he felt so strongly that even though, and he told us, I am a drug addict, I'm having a hard time, but he felt that there was a love of God. God loved him. And he didn't know exactly how he was going to get out of his situation, but he knew at that moment when he pulled out all his burnt stuff and that Bible was completely intact, that he was loved.
Oh my goodness. And what I want our folks to know is that when you're there, we're there. But more important, when you're there, when we're there, Christ is there already waiting for us. So it's not only about feeding people, but also maybe working towards a time in which we have a better public life where people don't get hungry. And so that involves things like the crop walk and advocacy and those other kinds of things. There's a plan for the fall, and I've invited you to lay that out for us in church on Sunday when we're blessing the animals. And so can you just share with us what we can all do this fall and how we can be involved and what our opportunity will be this Sunday to sign up?
Yes, absolutely. So, well, number one is, of course, the hot soup mission. This is something that people can do at home as a family. Make a meal. You can freeze it or actually bring it to St. Luke, fresh, and we will reheat it, we'll thaw it, and then bring it with us on our mission. If you want to take part in our mission, of course, of delivering food, you can absolutely always do that. We welcome you. We welcome you to join us. So that's number one. And of course, just real quick for those high schoolers, community service hours can be had. So that's also a plus. Crop walk will be October 16th. That will be after our church service. We are going to head over to Lakeview Lutheran and take part in that. I will include information of how you can donate, and of course, how you can participate in the walk. And you don't have to do the entire walk. You could do half of it, but just taking part in a little bit of it is very much worthwhile. We actually were the second largest. I think we raised the second largest amount of money in Illinois for the crop walk, the Lakeview Lutheran Parish as a whole. Wow. I know we raised an incredible amount of money. So we hope to do that again. And then November 12th, rain or shine, we are going to put together compassion bags. And what that is are gallon-sized Ziploc bags that we fill with items that many unhoused people have said to us are very helpful during the winter months. Socks, underwear, hand warmers, toe warmers, things like that. So I'm going to have a list of what our church, St. Luke, will be gathering. And the other three Lakeview Lutheran Parish churches will also be gathering their items. And we will come together at Lakeview Lutheran, once again, rain or shine, and we'll have a little procession of putting stuff in those bags until we make, around 500. And we will each congregation will get bags that you can take with you to hand out when you see somebody in need through those winter months. So that is another way to help people in our community.
And I've heard wonderful stories, Lisa, about people the encounters people have, excuse me, when they share these bags. There's a guy I've gotten to know near my apartment around Clark and Ridge, where that all comes together, and Ashland. And I gave him one, and he said, "Oh my God, Father, thank you." And then he's seen me in my collar, and then he said, "You have one for my buddy," and so I gave him two. And that's what we do. So this coming Sunday, beloved, we will have a concrete opportunity to live into this ministry. And so look forward to that. Lisa, thank you for your leadership. God's peace be with you.
All right. Thank you. Same to you and everyone else.
All right.